Welcome back to 4-5 Sports. Today we're going to be talking about the Clippers and how they just had a huge downfall as they lose to the Suns with no PG and no Kawhi. So where do they move on from now? Russ is a free agent. Eric Gordon's a free agent. What do we do here? What are we thinking?
They're not gonna not in the same situation as the Raptors. Like, they're not gonna try to sell everything, are they?
Yeah, I wouldn't think, but I don't know.
They're in a hard situation because, if they're healthy, it's probably a different story. But you really can't rely on
You've said
those.
that for
I know.
years.
Yeah.
You can't rely on them to be healthy at this point because they haven't shown that they can stay healthy.
This is the year they finally sell out at the deadline to build around the two centerpieces, and then your two centerpieces don't even play in the playoffs. So now dudes like Gordon and Plumlee and I think Rocco, I don't even know if you bring them back or. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm a Clippers fan, but I was because Russ is on the team.
I would somehow try to get Kawhi healthy.
Well, that's the thing is when he has a knee injury, is he going to play next year at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we getting him back in 2025?
He's never played more than 75 games in a
No.
season.
And Kawhi and PG played 38 games together this year.
Honestly, that shocks me.
And they're 24 and 14.
That shocks me they even played that many together. He played 52 this year.
With Russ, they probably played 6 with all three of them.
Yeah, hasn't hit over 57 games the last 3 years. Obviously, there's the ACL injury, but
Hey, but that's why we built him up to play 42 minutes in the playoff game.
yeah, and then sits out. But I'll say this Clippers, it reminds me of the Rams rebuild. You just put everything forward. Obviously, it worked out for the Rams because they won the Super Bowl, and it's obviously tougher. Might be tougher to win an NBA championship. I don't know. That might just be me. But it's definitely not looking up when you look at their future in terms of if Kawhi and PG don't work out and you just don't have your picks. You don't have picks. You have a first-round pick this year from Milwaukee. Nice. That'll be a nice little, 20...
28, 29, 30.
Depends on if they come back in this series. They've got a second. They got a second in 2024, and they don't have their own first till 2027. So,
I would almost just try to, since them guys aren't going to play, just try to trade them. But what other teams are going to want them?
right,
If they don't play.
Why would you even want to trade for Kawhi? Because you don't know what you're getting.
Yeah.
Because even when the Raptors traded for him, he played 60 games.
And if it's a thing where I think these guys could carry us to a play-in spot, and we'll have Kawhi for the postseason, is it even going to be ready?
Yeah. And by the way, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are not easy to trade for because
They're a lot of money.
exactly it'll be $45 million next year.
Yeah, they're both.
And then 48 player options.
They're not exactly young.
No, and you're not gonna decline a $48 million player option in 2024. I remember people saying Russ was gonna turn that down for the Lakers, and I was like, you don't turn down.
No one in their
50
right
million.
mind's turning that down.
Yeah,
Even if he doesn't think he's worth it.
you're right. Exactly. You take it, and you can still get traded.
That's the next point. Is unless they're all lying to the media, they want Russ back, but you're not gonna get him back for the minimum.
No, it's got to be.
I don't.
Teens.
As much as I think Russ would just want to stay there and take a lower salary, he's not going to take the minimum. He's I just averaged 37 and 7 in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You for real?
I'll tell you what, they got a lot of bad contracts.
They do.
Marcus Morris, $17 million. Robert Covington, $11 million. Nicholas Batum, $11 million. That's 3 contracts right there. And Norman Powell at 18, that's only going to get more expensive is pretty insane. So
They're in a really, really tough spot.
no, yeah.
I feel like for teams, though, it is always tough whenever you try to do everything you can to win a championship. and then you get first rounded, which their first round matchup wasn't easy.
No.
I will say that.
No.
But you put yourselves in such a tough spot when you try to win a championship in 1 year and not like build for the future.
No. Well, and I think what they thought was, Kawhi was basically like, hey, get me Paul George and I'll come there. So they were like, all right, whatever, we'll put everything we have to obtain Paul George. And
They missed the playoffs,
Yeah.
lost in the play-in, and lost in the first round.
yeah, they blew a 3-1 lead to Denver in the bubble. So,
And what's crazy is I don't really want to blame it as much like on the GM or anything because like he built on paper what is a really really good team.
No.
Yeah, he's not out there.
And their example was take Curry and Clay away from the Warriors. Do they win a series against the Suns?
Yeah, exactly. Like it's hard to like you
Take
can't
LeBron and AD
blame
away
you
from
can't
them.
blame like it's hard to blame any of the like upper staff because it's like what happened to them they don't like, it's hard to control.
yeah. And look at game 1. Look at game 1 and
I was
2.
like, if you give them one of them, it's a pretty freak. It was a competitive series, even though it was 4-1. If you give them one of
Yeah.
Kawhi or PG,
That makes it a lot tougher for both KD and Booker.
So like, I feel like it's really easy to say like keep pretty much the same team, run it again next year, and just play your odds. But then it's like it's easy to say it, but it's also hard to trust that what happened this year won't be a recurring issue for the
who
future.
do you retain? Who do you move on from?
Yeah,
Like, I'm sure they want to keep dudes like Bones and Terrence Mann, but
I was like,
Eric
Bones
Gordon's
Highland is
old
on
as
a
dirt.
really good contract.
Nico's been Batum. That's what I mean by that. But I don't know. Man.
When they won that game, everybody played, right?
Not PG.
PG's been out for
Okay.
weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
But,
Yeah, I think if they had Kawhi,
But he made sure to tell it if we survive a week longer, I'll play. Well, it's over, buddy. And Kawhi, it sucks because the last month of the season, he was probably playing like an MVP.
yeah.
I was like, if Kawhi plays, he's one of, if not like a top 5 player.
They're
In the
1-1 with Kawhi in that series, but I'm pretty sure he aggravated it in game 2. So, but they kind of got blown out in game 2.
So like, yeah, I mean, if you're the Clippers, I'm not sure if I'd do a whole lot with like your stars. I'd probably just like rebuild the role pieces around them. But
The money's going to be the issue next year.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
money's gonna be a problem.
And I don't-
'Cause, yeah,
I don't necessarily love their young guys. Like, I
they
mean,
don't really have any. They have 2.
they've got Terrence Mann, Bones Highland, and you can count BJ Boston
I guess, yeah, I guess.
because he showed potential his rookie year, and then they don't really use him anymore. So
I think they really like Powell, but
yeah,
he's getting up there.
And like you said, it's just gonna like try and find cheap role pieces because when your top 2 players making $100 million, like it's hard to make a team around them that can go win a championship.
yeah. And I think one thing we're not talking about at all is that they traded Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in that trade to get PG, which
Yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna say it was dumb because they got Paul George.
Right.
But Paul George isn't playing, so it is kind of stupid.
yeah. And
I mean, I still think it all works out if they play.
If they do, they probably have a ring.
Probably.
they could. I still can't believe they blew the lead in the bubble. It was like, I don't know. Jamal Murray was on a different level at that point, but
Yeah.
actually he's playing at that level right now too. So
Wasn't one of them hurt though?
I don't know.
I thought Paul George was hurt.
That's what I thought.
Or I mean,
I can't
I
remember.
think he played in a couple of the games, but he didn't play the whole series.
Well, I mean that'd just be part of it, I guess.
I mean, yeah, it's not like,
row.
and it's not like injuries don't happen. Like every team gets injured. It just sucks when like your
There's
2 best
no-
players
There's
injured.
no backup plan for it.
Yeah, like it's different when like, you know, like your 3rd or 4th best player gets hurt, and your 2 superstars.
Let's see here. I mean, they played game 7, so
Very nice.
Maybe not
I
then.
guess. Jamal had 40.
Well,
Yeah.
well,
Crazy. Jamal Murray in the playoffs is actually kind of insane.
He's nuts.
He's pretty good. So
I wasn't too impressed with the Suns. As what good as that roster is. I think the Nuggets might have him.
I think the Nuggets might have him as well. I think Jokic gives them nightmares. Along with Jamal. The Los Angeles Clippers. Soon to get their own arena with an Inglewood, but who knows if Kawhi and Paul George will even be there for that.
They may never see that arena.
Yeah, no kidding. So, should they blow it up or should they just keep it going?
Ballmer's got some work to do.
Yes, he does.